Two, one, punch it.
All right. Hey, everybody, gallies and gals, or guy gals. Welcome to Shadow the Broker session 142, the first session of my little mini campaign, Race Down the Dead Road. This is part one, Start Your Hyperdrives. I am Jack, GMing this, and with me I have a slightly smaller group of players than usual who will introduce themselves, starting with Shadowcat.
Hey everybody, welcome. I'm the Shadowcat. I'm playing the Mandalorian bounty hunter who is completely out of time, Vanris. Yeah, basically she's about 3,000 years old, a couple of months out of Carbonite, and she's, just putting herself back into the world.
All right, next is Dan.
I'm playing Aiden, a Corellian Fringer pilot. He's interested in seeing the downfall of the Empire and finding the guy who swindled him out of a ship so many years ago.
And finally, we have James.
I'm playing Zevo the Hutt, a young Hutt who, a while ago now, was framed for murdering a Hutt from a competing clan, though the actual murderer, he was framed, and the actual murder has since been identified but not caught. Recently, he's been kind of taking a break from field activity to kind of run things over at the group's casino nightclub that they own, that he's kind of the general manager of, but he's back out in the field for this one.
He's also increased his prices.
Always.
Like any good capitalist. All right, and before we get started, let's go ahead and get our resources aligned. Oops, okay, well, first one is 40, which is the obligation. Second one's 81. 81 definitely misses duty.
Yeah, 40 definitely hits, though, and it hits. Zevo's Inquisitorius. He was identified while buying I think was it a shield gauntlet? I don't know who uses that. Is it Killian Ranger?
Was it for Erdo?
Yeah.
Was it the Killian one? It must have been, right?
Yeah. So he got identified buying an artifact related to a Force tradition.
All right. I'll keep that in mind. Going forward, right now, I think you guys have actually finally made it back to the Altar Mountain base for a little respite. What do you think you characters would be doing in this sort of lull between, I guess, the mission to aid Saber and now?
I'd say. Go ahead.
I would say Venus is going through the mission dossiers of, starting back and going forwards, and sharpening up her aim out on the range somewhere.
How about Zevo?
Zevo's this may come up in a mission I run later, but there have been some issues around the Motherlode Casino. So Zevo's been kind of trying to look into some accounting issues, if we can call them that, to try to figure out what happened to some of his, and kind of through that, the group's money.
Interesting. Aiden has probably been, I'll say maybe he's been running, with his ship to various parts of the galaxy, maybe assisting Zevo with some of this, maybe tracking down some people, and at the same time trying to find any leads on the guy who took his ship forever ago.
Okay. So in one time where you happen to return to Altar Mountain, Aiden, Vanris, and Zevo are all, in fact, it's a general call for agents, but since you guys are the actually only ones playing, we'll be playing it through your perspective, by N1M3, the broker's liaison droid for the Altar Mountain cell. And when you all arrive in the conference room, you find N1M3 by the holotank, sort of just twirling his head around, kind of confused.
N1M3 looks to have put on some weight.
Hey, I put the Idler, you know exactly who that is. Convene N1 and 3 says, we have received 3 transmissions from different sources, but given their relative chronological order, chronological synchronicity, I guess would be a better term, and how they all seem to relate to the same topic, I will play them in succession. And he plugs into the holotank, and the first thing to pop up is the rather corpulent, somewhat more corpulent than you remember, figure of Minilad the Hutt, the leader of the Vermalik Khajiit, and your technically official patron, given that you have a Vermalik Ardos disc.
I thought we had that removed some time back. We had to hand that back for a bounty mission for Amonet.
I don't think so.
Neither do I.
Ardos disc?
I feel like it came up, but I don't think we
Yeah,
actually got rid of it.
and they were after Gristle as well, and they removed when they took the disc.
Well, then it was returned.
Okay.
For the purposes of this mission, it was returned.
Minilad realized that you guys are better off serving as his official agents than actually holding something like this over your heads over a rather elusive bounty.
Yep. Cool.
Regardless, he calls you agents, or shall I say in this case, raiders. Your presence is required immediately on the system of Varl. You will need to serve as my proxies once more in another contest of Hutt supremacy. And with that, the hologram cuts out. And then another hologram shows up, one of Borga the Hutt, leader of the oh my gosh, the tongue
Basadi?
twister. Basadi, yes. Khajiit. Agents, I have been informed that Minilad is calling you for an errand of his, but I would like to speak with you as well. When you come to Varl, see me immediately. And the hologram cuts out. And then finally, the familiar human figure of General Crix Madine, your boss for Spec Ops, says, Agents, we're detecting a very concentrated gathering of both Hutt forces and Hutt Khajiits in the Varl system. I need you to use your influence with the Hutts to go there immediately and report as to what the Hutts are planning.
Okay, that sounds easy because we've been asked already by the 2 Huts. So hey, let's do this. Easy money.
Aiden's looking at the droid and saying, "Are there any more? Like, did we miss any? We haven't been gone that long, right?"
M1 shakes his head and says these messages were sent within 10 minutes of each other. First Minilad, then Borga, then General Madine.
Okay, so who's keeping tabs on who here?
Assuming that the
It's
rebel...
probably omnidirectional.
M1 says, I think this is a situation where you might need to at least find out what all these people want before you can decide what course of action to follow.
Okay, shall we call them back in chronological order?
I think it might be best to make haste to the Varl system.
Okay, we could probably do that on the way.
Yeah, while we're en route, should we call command and find out what General Madine would recommend in this case, since we do have 2 offers here?
Well, he wants you to go gather information, first of all. That's why he wants you to go and report back.
Well,
Yeah, but if he would prefer information from a particular side of this upcoming conflict or whatever it is.
Given the rebel situation from the Hutts, he'd probably want you to get as much information as possible from as many sources as possible.
right, and Borga just said to meet with him. It doesn't mean that he wants, or she wants us to represent the Saudi.
That's fair. And it's not like Borga doesn't know that Minilad contacted us.
Right.
All right. Well,
Because this was a general call to the agents, you will be taking the Sunflare. And the coordinates for Varl are quite well known, so there is no need to work with astrogation.
Does the Navicomputer have any information about Varl?
I mean, it is generally known as the former Hut homeworld. Beyond that, that will require a knowledge check.
Cool.
Underworld?
Knowledge.
Could we make said knowledge check?
Yes. Getting
Which
to
of us
that.
is best at that?
You can either choose Underworld or Outer Rim. Outer Rim for more scholastically knowledge about the Vault system. Underworld for the Hut's connection to it. I'd say the difficulty is going to be hard for both, but I'll be the one to put that in.
Okay.
Aiden has a rank in Outer Rim, but
I can do Underworld.
who's got the intellect?
I have 2.
I got 2.
I also have 2. Okay.
I'll ask either one of you, since Ziva would probably have some of the background information.
Okay, so I'll do the Underworld.
Zivo can get a boost if he does his own check. And of course, these checks aren't mutually exclusive. You can do both.
Okay.
Can I take assistance from someone then?
Yeah, you get you get your natural boost and then assistance.
Okay, so
Yeah, so you can get the rank from Aiden
so I will. Okay,
for Outer Rim.
so I get
Alright.
an upgrade. I'll take a strain to use intense focus, and I add 1 boost. Have you added the difficulty, Jack?
Oh, I added the boost as well, so you don't need to
Oh.
put the boost on there.
So I just add my 2 upgrades and pick knowledge underworld, right?
Yes. Yep.
I did a thing.
I was
I
gonna.
didn't do a thing.
I feel like that should have been more upgrades.
You gave me 1 rank, right? Or that was underworld. How many ranks do you have, D?
I got 2
Oh, my bad. I misheard.
because I've got 1 in.
Mine was Outer Rim, so that was her. Yeah.
So, is it possible for me to just roll 1 green now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can instead of rolling the skill, you would just go up to the top and roll the green. Roll blank, so no effect.
All right, so 1 threat. Zivo's not so sure.
Yeah, given Zivo's knowledge, given how long you've been disconnected from Hut politics, your information on Varl is kind of faded. I mean, it seems to be mostly a ceremonial position. Like, the Huts have pretty much entirely moved to now Hutta and elsewhere after Varl's destruction. So it appears to be mostly a ceremonial place that the ruling council usually visits from time to time. All right, if you want to roll the Outer Rim check, I've already set up the difficulty.
Okay, who wants to do the Outer Rim? Because I've only got 1 rank in Outer Rim.
I've also got 1 rank, so Zivo can do the same thing. You can pair with me this time, I guess.
Okay, but that would be my original roll again, was just the 2 upgrades.
Yep.
So, but the boosts, but you've already had the boost, right, Jack?
Well, there's no boost for this one because this is more with kind of the stellar connection Vol has with the Outer Rim.
Sounds
Not
good.
so culturally connected to the Huts.
Another strain for intense focus, not presence. And a little better.
Varl is surrounded by an asteroid belt, probably the result of several of its moons being destroyed.
Ugh.
And because Varl is generally uninhabitable, any civilization would probably be based on these asteroids at best.
Okay, so we should. Aiden will do a great job. I have total faith.
Yeah, and Aiden can navigate an asteroid field. He's done it before.
All right. So you plot the course into the nav and quickly jump into hyperspace, and a short time later drop out in front of this. As you learned, surrounding Varl is a giant mass of asteroid belts and clouds held together by relative points of gravity. In the center, which you can immediately tell is probably the center of any business or government in this area, is this giant asteroid station surrounded not only by asteroids but by massive ships of several different types and sizes. It seems to be quite busy. even a couple of ships that seem to be mining the nearby asteroids have to have a holding pattern before they can dock.
Did
Also, Igno, call it in and request a landing vector.
The Rowdy Raiders stellar flare. Yes, Minilord has cleared your landing, and you are given coordinates to a private landing pad. Welcome to Val Utagash.
Thank you very much. And Officom Venris will say, that was too easy.
I mean, they invited us here. I'm not sure what you expected.
Yeah, I know, but it's still too easy.
So go ahead and give me an easy piloting check just to get around the stellar traffic and debris, as it seems like it's very well coordinated around Val Utagash, but there's still a bit of difficulty.
Sure. Any modifiers on that at all?
No, I would add setback, but that would be if this was a more chaotic traffic pattern. It's not.
Plus, I can remove 3 of them. So.
Well, even if you could, you don't need to. That's how easy this is. All right. Yeah,
that was surprisingly close.
You pull into dock and notice that when you were coming in on your landing vector, you noticed that there were several of these sort of private landing pads, each with a giant crest above them. And given your familiarity with Hutt politics, each crest is actually a symbol for a major Hutt Khajiit. And you just happened to park under one that was for Vermalik. You notice that there are also several other different kinds of ships parked under Basadi, Disilagic, and so on and so forth. It seems like all of the Hutts seem to be calling someone in.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Vermalik is a little smaller, right?
Yeah.
Vermalik has gotten a lot of prestige because of your efforts, but next to Basadi and Disilagic, it is still a lesser Khajiit.
Yeah. It's like a sub clan almost, right?
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it has
right?
What's that?
It's just not one of the like ruling council ancient ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not a clan of the ancients because obviously you can't emphasize a bloodline that's not there. But it has gotten a lot of prestige lately, especially with the fall of its other rival, Jarama. But you also notice Jarama Crest is also on the station, and it has also have one ship parked.
Oh, they're not completely gone.
Yeah, that looks like trouble.
R2 missed a couple.
Anyway, one thing against this roller is that it's nearly impossible to get out of the way.
You can pop it out in a separate window.
Yeah, I'd have nowhere to put it though, because the Roll20 is taking up the whole screen. I don't have the luxury of 2 monitors.
Neither do I. I feel your pain.
Anyway, you disembark the hangar and you find a Devronian lieutenant that gives you a calm salute and says, the Rowdy Raiders. And Law is expecting you. Follow me.
It will follow, but kind of keep a lookout a bit on just keep his eyes open for anything that might stand out.
Vanris will say, let's flank Zivo so that obviously he feels obviously Zivo can take charge and we can be his minders.
All right. You're taking down a single hallway that seems to kind of branch off here and there. Ducking in, you kind of see how some of them lead to nice little spice dens. You see a couple of dancers in one. It seems like this is kind of just Minilod's private club. And eventually you are taken to an overhang of one of the larger antechambers. And they're sitting on a very resplendent bench, cushions everywhere, a couple of nice little Twi'lek women fluffing them. Is Minilod the Hutt. And again, he looks a lot fatter than you last saw him, especially when Jarama decided to kidnap him. My friends! And he claps almost like a beached seal. Come.
That's a very accurate description of a Hutt.
Come, Aiden. Zivo, good to see you. And I see you brought someone new.
Yes.
Aiden will give a little, not quite condescending, but like he's being as respectful as he can to a hut, but he's not exactly fond of it. So he'll give like a little bow and say, to what do we owe this invitation?
Momentum. That, Aiden, is why you are here. You see, the huts have found themselves in a bit of an impasse. A very glorious opportunity has presented itself, but the resources required to exploit it would leave any one Khajiit vulnerable. And so in our mutual distrust, we have decided to have a game played to see who will claim the riches of a newly rediscovered piece of our space. And he rolls his arm a little bit, and the Deveronian shows up again with a holoprojector. He turns it on, and you see all of hut space with a large chunk that's kind of obscured by a nebula. This piece of the Bunata Hata has long been obscured by a stellar phenomenon we believe was caused by a supernova millennia ago. It has recently begun to dissipate, allowing that region to be re-exploited as we believe our ancestors had used it.
Venris will speak in Mandalorian. Okay, so who do you want taken out?
Menelad peeks up his eyebrows a bit. Does she not speak basic Huttese?
I'm fairly certain she does.
He doesn't seem to understand Mandalorian.
Venaris, I don't think, or Venris, I don't think he speaks Mandalorian.
Okay, then she switches.
Stick with basic.
She switches back to basic, but obviously with a few words of Mando still actually appear, and she'll then repeat herself. So who do you want taken out?
Taken out is too simple of an order for this task. The ruling council has actually deemed it that it shall be a trial of martial skill and speed to see who claims what in this bountiful area.
And let me guess. Let me guess. It started.
Don't interrupt me. Silence. And she waves a fatty finger in your face.
And she goes, I am a chosen of Mandalore. I am a champion of so many great hunts that you were just a sliver in your Papa's eye.
Aiden will put a hand on her shoulder. It's like, calm down.
Who is this to bring such disrespect? I asked for friends and you bring this antagonizing woman.
Now's not the time.
Yeah, Zivo will put a hand kind of across her, like push her back behind him a little bit and say, she's unaccustomed to our culture, but before we appear before you again, we'll make sure she is reminded of the decorum in your presence.
There's a moment of silence in the air before Menelad, through squinting eyes, nods. Very well. In light of your past service, I will overlook this oversight. Now, I have asked you to come join me because I require your skills once more. You are to man your ship. I believe it is quite fast, both in hyperspace and not.
Correct.
Yes, and you will fly it down the dead road to form a hyperspace route through that section of the Bunata Hata. You will reclaim the worlds that line it, and in effect, reblaze that trail back to the home sector of our home world of our ancestors. Throne world of our ancestors. Bypass. Now, this is crucial. This is a race to reblaze the trail using not only artifacts we have reclaimed on this unspoilt side of the Bunata Hutta, but also within. And the hologram flicks again to reveal a large stone tablet. And you can kind of make out it seems to be talking about some Huttese history, and it actually looks like there's some constellations in the background. It's probably some sort of ancient star chart. Using this, you will have your first leg of the journey, and along each leg you shall find more tablets or some records like these that shall help you continue to chart the drift caused by the stellar phenomenon that first obscured that section. This is a planet-hopping journey. Each time you recover a section of the star map, you claim that world and the space around it for whatever Khajiit you represent. Of course, Vermilic is not the only Khajiit in the race.
No. I've seen Basadi and Jarama as well. As well as many others from the looks of it.
Several Khajiits have mustered the resources necessary to not only claim the Dead Road, but sponsor a racer for it. Even Jarama, as far fallen as they are, have mustered a competitor.
And who is the competitor?
I have a small dossier here. He waves another fatty arm, and Tagruta comes out from behind. Older, looks like he has a very shell-shocked expression on his face as he hands each of you a data pad.
Aiden will glance over it real quick. Does he recognize anyone on there as notable? Potentially?
You recognize the Hydian's Dread, probably by reputation, along with the Outer Rim Survey Corps. One because of its relative size, and one because of its relative infamy. The Outer Rim Survey Corps has been in business for back into the later days of the Republic, where they charted, of course, they charted planets along the Outer Rim. However, closer to the Clone Wars, they began to take more and more contracts for Dysphilogic, finding secret hyperspace routes for their smugglers to use. The Hydian's Dread is a pirate gang operating out of a single ship that has, as you would assume, pillaged cargo convoys all along the Hydian. That group has been going on for about 150 to 200 years, leading a lot of credence to the relative immortality of their captain, Unbroken Onyx.
Okay.
The rest of these are sort of...
Sorry, do you know anything about the captain? Other than the name?
Other than the name and the fact that the group's been along this long, that's about it. Any other research would probably have to be done locally.
Gotcha.
Vendris will pull out her own data pad, which is connected to the bounty, and she'll just compare what's on the data pad they were just given and the bounty list.
Okay, so a lot of people that apparently are part of the Outer Rim Survey Corps have a bounty on them, mainly from the Empire, because they're competing with a lot of not the Bureau of Ships and the boss. They've been competing with the boss for a lot of hyperlane catalogs. Hydian's Dread, that's like a blanket bounty for anyone you can prove to be a part of this group. The scouting fleet oddly has no bounties because it is an official part of the Hutt self-police force.
So it's kind of immune to it.
Yeah, the smuggler Baron Baton also has a bounty. You don't know anything about this explorer. He actually doesn't have a bounty. Rowdy Raiders, that would be you. So bounties may vary.
Yes.
The Bosch Kanan, sorry. No bounties. You don't have any names, but that group seems to also have a lot of Hutt auspices protecting it. The Solar Flare, worded oddly but pronounced literally Solar Flare, another, just like the Hydian's Dread, complete blanket bounty on them. And then, of course, this last one, you have no clue.
And I take there's going to be at least an Empire sponsored one as well.
There may not be an Empire-sponsored team, but they'll certainly be interested in potentially mopping up.
Yeah, leftovers.
This is a Hutt operation.
Wasn't Vermilic kind of cozy with the Empire?
You mean Jarama? Because
Jarama.
I'm working with Vermalek.
I meant Jarama.
A drama could very easily
Anyway,
tip people off.
aside from Aiden's natural experiences and the bounty board, this is all you know about these assorted factions.
Okay, she's gonna check the blacklist.
No clue what that is, so you don't find anything.
Okay.
Zivo will look over at Aiden and say, well, regardless of who the opposition is, we can just, if we're faster, it doesn't matter who they are.
Oh, I agree. But it's good to know who we have to be faster than.
And when does this start?
It starts as soon as the Hutts have decided our ceremonies are no longer worth the pomp and circumstance. I assume
So,
probably
probably
within
not
the
long.
day.
Yeah.
I would take this time to perhaps learn more about your competitors, or to perhaps entertain yourselves with the festivities we've decided to put on.
So, your corpulence. I don't know. I may have missed it earlier, but did you? What are we? What do we stand to gain from this? Aside from the honor of assisting you, of course.
I aim to claim the entirety of the Dead Road, and thus the entirety of that section of the Bunata Hutta for Vermalek. With such a gain in prestige, it will no longer matter that my Disiligic is not part of the clan of ancients. We will have more power than perhaps even Basadi or Disiligic. Hut space will be in my hands, and thus, because of our strategic alliance, it shall be in yours.
That sounds fair. Zivo?
Surely there'll be some compensation from amongst these riches.
Oh, of course. I will not shame you with such a direct payout, but many assets and resources shall be available to you should you succeed. In fact, I may even deem it to be a wish to grant.
A favor
Especially
from one so
for
mighty
you.
as yourself.
Yes, especially for you, Zivo. I know you have long since skirted the outskirts of politics because of your indiscretion, or the indiscretion of others. I will not judge. But if you help Vermalek gain this new prestige, I could bring you back into the spotlight. No Hutch will question your right to be a part of us, if I simply say so.
Zivo nods his head. This is all sounding good to him.
All right, and we'll give a quick glance to Van Riss looking for any opposition, and if not, then
Nope. Nope, she has no opposition, but what she will do is she will put, the rival teams to their ships, if you know what I mean. And
I don't.
try to figure out which ships they own.
exactly,
if they run.
yeah. Find out what ships they own and see if we can acquire some tags. And
Go ahead and tell you. You've already seen that all of these racer ships are parked at private hangars for each independent.
right, yeah. So
Logic,
no one
Logic, and
entrance.
also, some of these ships are too large to actually even park at the space station. You probably
Right.
saw them when you were coming
Outside,
in.
yeah. So private entry, no one apart from said
Yeah.
crew in said hangar.
Yeah, but
Besides,
tit for
it
tat,
won't
you can
matter.
also feel safe that the Sunflare is probably safe too.
Yeah. So on that note, Aiden will turn to the hut in front of him and give another little bow and say, "Well, if that is all, then we'll be on our way."
As you start to depart, Minlad raises a finger. I'm sure you brought along the autos for this guy returned to you, correct?
Of course.
Yes, well, along with the many gifts I can bestow upon you if you bring apart this massive bounty. The wrath I can bring upon you if you fail, even greater. And then he just waves his hand. That will be all.
Aiden will give a nod and continue walking away.
All right. The Devronian, after you walk out of that private club area, the Devronian says, "Shall I return you to your ship to wait until the opening ceremonies, or would you like to be brought to the station?"
Hold a moment. Let me confer with my team here. So Aiden will go over to Zivo and Vanris. So I know Borga wanted to meet with us. Did we want to go with them? Would he be on the station?
Yeah, you can assume that he's probably in his own private collect, just like Menelod.
Yeah, I think now's the time for that.
All right,
Yeah.
to the station then.
All right. As he's walking away, he'll gesture and says, given that this is a station of less than above grade repute, you will of course be able to carry your weapons with you. However, be forewarned that any
Usage of
unsanctioned
weapons.
Well, there are places where you may be able to use them, but unsanctioned firefights are of course frowned upon.
I understand.
That sounds reasonable to me. Aiden will still unhook his holster. He'll unbutton the holster just in case.
He takes you into the station where you see that it's quite a lot of festivities going on. It seems like you're walking down, almost reminds you back when you were on Coronet and they had Life Day celebrations. Obviously, you don't have fireworks in the enclosed space, but a lot of the signs seem to have been turned up really bright.
The Life Day celebrations are probably a little more wholesome than this too.
You see that there are actually several games going on, but given your goal, you try and keep an eye out for the signs that seem to point to the several different audience chambers for the different Kajiks, and eventually you find yourself before Basadi's. As you approach the Clautonian at the door, actually there's a pair of them, but one of them sees Zivo specifically, and after looking at a data pad in his hand, saw, yes. Come, Borga's expecting you.
Aiden will turn to Zivo and say, "We'll follow your lead here."
Zivo will take the lead and kind of put on a regal sort of bearing.
That is an extreme close-up.
Yeah. There's only so many photos of these guys, and I'm not even sure that's actually Borga. Anyway, yes, you are brought through an area that looks a lot like the Menelod's area, except for maybe, a few stylish differences. And eventually you brought forth almost the same exact area like Menelod's Borga's room. His is much more Spartan. He has a long couch, but you see a lot of the creature comforts are absent. And standing next to him is another Clautonian with a large scar over his right kind of slobbering cheek. And on flanking the Clautonian is a person of a bit smaller stature than, of course, the massive frame of Clautonian, but decked out completely in black armor, even the dark domed helmet over his face. In fact, you don't even know if it's a man or a woman. The armor is very androgynous.
You said this is a Clautonian or just
you don't know.
Or just
you
general humanoid?
Yeah, general humanoid, and beyond that you can't. It's definitely smaller than a Clautonian. Like, Clautonian's almost borderline Wookiee sized, but...
Do any of us recognize this armor?
No.
Like, is it... Okay, we don't know if it would necessarily be for something or a particular group.
Yeah, no. But as you array yourself in standard supplicant posture, Borga nods and says, "I'm glad you could come. I assume you have already spoken with Menelod?"
We have.
Yes. Of course, given our relationship, I wouldn't put it past Menelod to go for his most resourceful allies.
But I believe we are yours as well.
Indeed you are. And he actually looks a bit pleasantly surprised at your assertion. Which is why I've also asked you to come, even though I know Mindlord wants to put you forth as his erasers. I, as you probably already know, have my own participant, and he gestures towards the black armored figure, who you can probably now assume is Onyx. I did not wish to cause a direct conflict for the race between Mindlord and myself competing for the assistance of your party, but I have my own request that you must fulfill if you wish to sustain our alliance.
And that is?
Go on.
Yeah.
I wish to claim all of the Dead Road for Besadi.
Venris will laugh loud, and she'll get the better of her humour.
Aiden will give her a bit of a warning look, like, hey, again, chill.
You find this amusing?
Zivo will shrug and say, "Isn't that what everyone here wants? Is there
No.
a team here that's not here to win?"
Some Kajiks are more focused in their goals. Most know they do not have the resources to hold on to the Dead Road, even if they were to win this race. Some seek only the riches of Ibis. However, of course, the great clans of the ancients wish to seek it all, along with upstarts. Which is why I ask you here to go against what Mindlord has most likely asked you to fulfill, to claim the Dead Road for Vermalik.
Well, why don't we just play both sides together?
I don't think they're going to go for that.
I will not split such a prize with such an upstart as Mindlord.
Well,
His Kajik has been useful in playing the field against Disilagic and Dorama, but when it comes to this prize, it is too much for that
foul
thin
thing.
hut to swallow.
How about if we pretend to be in his employ, but circumvent it to be yours?
That is precisely why I brought you here. I do not wish to rob, and he says that very sarcastically, Mindlord of his racers. I simply wish to take away his victory.
So you're asking an awful lot here. What are you offering?
If Mindlord thinks Vermalik will be powerful if he is able to claim the entirety of the Dead Road, imagine how much more powerful Besadi would be if we could claim the entirety of the Dead Road. We have the prestige of a clan, being a clan that can trace its lineage to Val, and we have the resources, unlike Vermalik, to hold on to it ourselves. Even if you win the Dead Road for Vermalik, he will no doubt be calling on you again and again to help him keep it from the likes of Disilagic or Angelic, Quanalak, you name it. The other Kajiks will not let it go, but Besadi and Besadi alone can take and hold what we win.
Zivo nods and says, "You do know that, of course, I want our clan to do well, but we have certain
Obligations?
privileges that come with our position within Vermalik, and we would see personal setback were we to lose that. Would you be willing to match the honor bestowed upon us?"
I realize in the past my support has had to be more clandestine for the sake of hut politics, but if you do this for me, that will end. My support for you will become public. You may even replace the Ardos disc you will most likely lose when you fail Vermalik in exchange for one of my own. Regardless, you can count on having an even stronger supporter in hut space than Vermalik. For I assure you, if Vermalik takes the prize, you will lose Besadi.
Zivo, I can't make this call. This is you.
May we have a moment to discuss before responding?
When you put that forth, you see Borger remains looking at you, but his eyes dart over to Onyx, who looks up at him. There's no motion, but a moment later, Borger looks back at you. As you wish. And then he waves for the Klatunian that brought you in to escort you into what appears to be a nice little lounge area. In fact, as you come in and take your seats, Twilight comes out into the middle of the room and just starts dancing without even being solicited.
I think Aiden would probably shoo her away.
Yeah.
It's okay. you don't have to do this for us.
So
No, Zivo doesn't want her
sorry.
here to listen in.
Yeah,
Oh, so
Aiden will tip her, and
thank you.
He'll give her some credits. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And then she kind of shuffles out.
All right.
Come on, I have an item to aid us right now, I thought. Let me
What
see.
kind of item?
The listening device detector mabob.
That's a very official sounding name.
Yeah. It's the mabob, isn't it? That's how you know it's really official.
You mean the widget?
It is.
Also known as the Who's It What's It.
The security snooper or whatever.
Yeah, security sweeper, I think. Yeah.
Now, I know you're probably still looking for it right now, but does that just make your conversation harder to hear? Or does that outright disable?
Well, it
Listening
only
devices.
actually helps to locate.
Okay.
So it's not a cone of silence.
I haven't looked at things for Zivo in a very long time since I realized it appears that I haven't played Zivo in 6.5 months. So like books have come out in the interim, so I only have this right now, but it is a average computer's check to use it.
Okay. I'm going to add 2 setback to that, but otherwise go for it.
Does anyone have any computers ranks?
Actually, you know what? I'm going to use a dark side and change that to a red.
So you added the upgrade automatically then?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was gonna say.
He probably added the setbacks.
Can Vanris use her Mark 1 eyeball just to check in the normal places where bugs would be, like under chairs, tables,
So just like visually?
vases? Yeah.
If depending on what happens with this, I'll let you do a perception check.
Yeah, let's focus on one. So no one has any computers.
No.
Only got.
With-
No one has more than 2 int, I don't think either.
No.
So unskilled assistance from someone then,
Yeah, Aiden will unskilled assist. Why
and
not?
I'll take a strain to upgrade it, and
He'll plug in the thing. Hey, that's surprising.
Okay. You do
Especially because you didn't
find-
roll enough proficiency dice there. Or
yeah, that's weird. Oh, I clicked the main roll, not the shoot,
Yeah.
not the
Not
skill.
your
I mean, you got it
computer's
anyway.
check.
Well, you can always just add on
Oh.
what dice you would have missed by themselves.
It should just one of the green, right?
Oh, actually, hold on. Right before you
Sure.
roll, let me
Yeah.
clear the dice pool so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, now do it.
Okay.
Okay, 3 successes. You find that there was indeed a security bug pretty much right under the platform where the dancer was dancing. You can assume that she was actually probably a bit of a distraction. However, in your haste and perhaps a bit of pride, it's like, oh, hey, I found it. You reach for it and grab it, and it just shocks your hand a bit, taking 2 strain.
Cool. Can you? I'll just remember.
Yeah,
From,
move.
I can do it on the sheet, can I? Can I?
What's that?
Can I
think
do
you
my
can.
strain on my sheet myself?
Yes. Well, you can also just do it on your token too. Oh, your token's not there.
Well,
Yeah.
the token's not here.
Yeah, the sheet will carry over to the token.
So if I just go to strain and do 3 there, I'm set. Cool.
Yep, and it
Um,
popped up.
Aha, look at that. That's very cool. So Zivo will just he'll kind of go on top of the platform and like slither around just to make, if you like, rub them, like if you're using like a mic on your phone and it like rubs against your shirt, it'll make like a really annoying sound.
He just rubs his tail under it.
Why not just crush it as you
not ours.
As you go over it?
Not crushing it, making annoying sounds to distract. So Ziva will say,
could
what are your guys?
Hold a
I
hand
understand that.
and attempt to see if there were others, or is that the only one that was
This
there?
detects them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So Ziva will say, I know you said you would leave it up to me, Aiden, but I still would like to hear your thoughts on this because it will affect not only the three of us but all the rest of us as well.
Right. I appreciate it, really. I know this is very personal to you in a lot of ways. I mean, Shady Hut Clan or no offense or anything, Zivo, but I don't feel right betraying them, especially since they're your clan. And this would be probably the biggest betrayal we could do to them without outright killing one of them.
Zivo is Basadi.
Oh, he is Basadi. I thought he was Vermalik for some reason.
No.
Never mind. Scratch that part of the conversation.
Does that change how he feels?
A little bit, I think. So it's like, I know you're torn between I'm kind of torn between the clan we've already thrown our lot in with, and the one you're a part of here, Zivo. And I don't know, betraying anyone just doesn't sit right with me unless they've actually wronged me in some way, and that hasn't happened yet with them.
But the thing is, you were accused of a crime you did not commit. Obviously, you need to get your honor back. So honor would detect getting your life back.
Honor, not my concern now. I've made a life outside of Hut Society if I have to. My concern is for all of us together. And he will point out that Borga does make a good point that no matter how kind of good Vermalik is to us, 50% of Basadi's support still gets us much further than 100% from Vermalik.
That's true. What's your opinion on this whole thing, Zivo? Where do you stand?
Personally, this is a huge opportunity for me to retake my kind of birthright that was stolen from me. But I'm willing to give that up if it's not the right choice for our entire group together. That said, I think the opportunities provided, there will be more risks, of course. We'll be a much more direct target allied with such, it's like, it'll be a lightning rod sort of thing. With friends that powerful, will also come with powerful enemies. But
hey, we're part of the rebellion. We accept risk every day. That's not the issue here.
We take care of ourselves. So I think the benefits outweigh. I think the benefits within Basadi are very hard to turn down.
The needs of the many and the needs of the one.
Not sure if that fully applies here, but I will say there's something to be said for helping the underdog come out on top.
But with this,
yes,
society is established, Vermalik really never can come out on top. Their stature will rise, and it has risen, but the top is just not.
No, I agree, unfortunately.
And while this is a betrayal of sorts, remember that amongst the culture we are operating in, this is, par for the course.
No, I'm aware. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm aware. No, overall, I do agree with you that Basadi's probably our best bet then here. Oh, we have a handout apparently.
Oh, cool.
I showed it to you.
No, we don't.
earlier.
We do not have a handout.
Hold on. I tried showing it to you when you were talking to Minalaw. Did it not pop up?
No, did you
No.
like make it public or whatever you have to do?
There's a show to players button, and then there's
No. That's the problem. It's only in my journal. There we go.
Oh, you have to put it in all our journals first. There you go.
Uh-huh.
I let you all edit it from the start, but I just for the sake of hiding it, I'll put it in mine.
Fair enough. Okay, so that explains what you're saying, and that last one. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Whoopsie.
Okay. That's good to know. We'll find out more later, I assume.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
Yeah. So yeah. In that case, given what you're saying, Zivo, I agree. We should go with Basadi then.
Very well. Are we ready to go inform Borga?
Yeah, I suppose so.
All right.
Fenris will now take the bug and keep it in her hand.
Before she does anything to it, Aiden will say, "Careful," and without like outright saying anything that would give away that we know where the bug is. I mean, they may or may not know already, but
No, she's just
maybe best to keep things where you find it.
No, she's just gonna keep it in her hand.
Why? Diva will ask her what her plan is. Like, why are we stealing from our new benefactors?
He did not trust us to come up with a decision, so
I'm sorry, but he's a Hutt crime lord. He doesn't trust anyone.
Yeah, every single room in this place is bugged, I'm sure. I do not even really care if you heard what we said, but I wanted to give us, a chance to have the most private word we're going to get anywhere within this place.
Mm-hmm.
So I would recommend not starting out our new relationship already built on deceit and backstabbing with further
more deceit and backstabbing.
Yeah, we'll keep the deceit and backstabbing to a minimum.
Okay, should just pop it on the side.
All right. You come out. It was actually a secured door. It wasn't like a curtain or anything to see the Klatunian on the other side of the hallway waiting for you, and he takes you back to Borga's private audience chamber.
Well, go ahead and take points, Zivo.
Yep. So Ziva will come in and say your offer makes all the right points. The opportunities you provide both to our group and me personally are beyond value. So we accept your offer.
Oh. He claps a bit, and you see him give a wide smile. It looks like he almost probably ate.
It's gonna be really hard for a
hole.
Is this another overweight seal hand clap?
He's able to. He's had more experience with the fat. He can bend it in the right way so we can get his hands together.
He can bend
Not
it
just
like
slapping
Beckham.
his arms together. All right. He gestures to the black armored person who you now can presume to be Onyx. Says, "All right, coordinating with my own racer to allow him to claim each planet for Basadi." Onyx gives you a curt bow, and he speaks. And you can probably tell it's male, but it is very heavily modified. Like, I look forward to... I'm not even going to try and muffle it. It's going to make it harder to hear. I look forward to working with you.
Wait, did you say his name was X?
Onyx.
X? Oh, okay.
I heard, if you look at the race participants handout,
yeah,
the hiding.
I just heard X for some reason. I'm like, is he really Racer X? Like, is that what he is?
No. Unbroken Onyx.
It's worth noting the music is not playing. Or I'm not hearing it anyway.
Well,
So I see that there is music. Just,
There's some like background noise.
Well, I made it low, so it's probably because you turned your music volume down.
Yeah, there's like some background like ambient stuff.
Yeah.
It's also because it's not all coming through my headset. That's probably why too.
Ziva will point out that to help us kind of continue the ruse longer than possible, is it possible for us to win an early round or two, but somehow violate a rule that would cause our win to be vacated? That could allow the
more time until he catches on.
Remain hidden longer.
I appreciate your ingenuity, but the rules in this race are few and clear-cut. Violation leads to disqualification, and you may even be indentured if you break even more of the more valuable rules.
Very well.
Surely with huts of your stature that there are loopholes to exploit.
I'm afraid when the huts came together to make the rules, we tried to deprive ourselves of our usual creativity. This was an effort of the ruling council to make a fair playing field.
Does he look really disgusted when he says the word fair?
He doesn't. He says it with his eyes. If huts could roll their eyes with as much grandeur as humans could, he does. But he follows up with, though you need not worry about Minilod's interference. While he will be able to see what you have done, he will be powerless to interfere, as according to the rules of the competition.
I suppose we'll have to... That remains to be seen, I suppose. But,
True.
I believe that's all then?
You may take your leave. And he gestures to the hallway you came in.
Aiden will give him a little bow as well, and your corpulence, and then off on his way.
The Clatoonian escorts you back into the station, since you obviously have no business in their hangar. And the place is yours. What do you want to do now? You can either now look about the station and partake in the festivities, do a bit more research about the participants, or you do still have an order that you haven't fulfilled yet.
Yes, can we
go back to the ship?
Go to the ship and put our long-range transfer or long-range communication directed to the rebellion?
You return to the Vermilic hut. No, that's not right. You turn to the Vermilic part of the station and are let back in. You can give an easy excuse that you need to head back to your ship for something, and you call Nadine. Yes, agents. And waiting for your car. What are the huts up to?
I feel it's another one of their games, sir.
They've basically
quite fond of armor.
They've rediscovered a part of their space that they had lost behind a nebula, or in a nebula.
Some sort of stellar phenomenon, at any rate.
They were very vague with the details about why that section was lost.
We kind of give him like a general coordinates of where it's going to be and ask him what he knows about it.
The Dead Road. Yes, while we're not entirely in tune with politics, we are aware about that legend.
Anything you can tell us?
I can see why the huts are clamoring over who gets to claim what part of it. It is a very ancient and isolated part of their space. If there's any sort of exotic technology or anything, materials, peoples, they're probably in there.
Because Vermilic says obviously everyone wants every single piece for themselves, which is no surprise for huts.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Present company accepted, of course.
I mean, of course, the Rebel Alliance would have no resources to actually maintain that area of space against the entirety of the huts, and they will no doubt be angry if we tried.
Yeah, I mean, I'm afraid they're going to be taking this area of space whether we assist or not, so it may be
Perhaps
best
you can assist in a special way. And Nadine looks like he's had an idea, but he's not entirely happy with it.
some sort of covert
Before you
convoys.
before you say your piece, General, just be aware that we've agreed to, this comm is secure, right? Before I say any more, like we know this is a secure signal.
Let's say very valiant efforts have been made into making it very secure.
Okay.
Both on theirs.
Yeah. So Aiden would say, and just before you give us whatever your plan is, General, just keep in mind that, well, we've agreed to help Basadi with this against Vermilion.
When you mention that,
knowledge,
Mating's eyes kind of drift slowly over to Zivo, and he, pardon my rudeness, Zivo, but given your conflicting interests, I'm going to need to ask you to step out for a moment.
Zivo, I guess we'll shrug and move to a different compartment within the ship.
After a moment, Medine looks back at Aiden. Is this room secure? And he's definitely leaning on the fact that, is Zivo still here?
it's as secure as any room on the Sunflare.
Very well. You may have thrown in your lot with Basadi, but I might ask you to reconsider that. Because I know I'm about to suggest something that's going to burn a lot of your bridges with huts. But I think in the long run, it is the most viable option for the rebellion.
State your piece.
Don't let any of the Kajiks claim any more than one of these worlds.
So you want to keep their power divided between the worlds?
Yes, especially if the minor clans actually get their hands on one of these planets. They'll be fighting about it for generations. And that sort of division is something a new government like our republic would need to deal with the Hutts. We certainly cannot allow any one of these larger Kajiks to get whatever is hidden in the Dead Road.
So basically,
That would make the Hutts a dominant superpower, not only in the Outer Rim, but probably extending as far as the expansion region.
So divide and conquer.
Not even so much conquer,
Yes.
just isolate.
You could claim one world for Vermilion, one world for Basadi, give on heirs that you may be following one side or the other, but then start falling behind and perhaps actively sabotaging other teams' efforts to make sure not one racer claims more than one of these planets. Now,
With all
Ibis. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Aiden. I need your advice.
With all due
You're on the
respect, sir, is Evo not also a part of this rebellion?
He is. Believe me, I do not like giving this order, but I believe for the greater good of our rebellion and what we perhaps want to do after the Empire is finally defeated, we have to sabotage the Hutts. Even though I know, even our rebellion has had aid from both Morga and Minalad. And I know you have had extensive help from both sides, but we cannot allow such a large gain in power for any of these groups.
Would it not be best if the one that we work with is the one that is in power? I know that they'll have most of it at that point, but
At least dealing with one hut is better than dealing with
one hut that we're on the good side of, for that matter.
than
What?
various other huts.
Would you put it past any of these Hutts to turn against us if it suited them? Have they not already asked you to turn on one another? Or rather against one of your allies?
There was a time
I just don't know, sir.
when they were never like this.
I find that
Well,
hard.
unfortunately, they're like this now. Aiden, I know it's difficult, but I must make this in order.
Then I feel like
sabotage.
Zivo should be a part of this at the very least.
Yes.
You should know.
We do this together as a team, or we don't do it at all.
Well, this isn't going to get done unless I have your cooperation, so very well. You have my permission to bring him back in.
Okay.
Zivo?
Fenris will go and get Zivo. And she will say to him, try to be calm when you hear this.
Ziva, when you return, Maydeen seems like he's speaking directly to you now, and you can tell he's not liking what he's saying. Zivo, I know this will be difficult, especially because I'm asking you to turn against family. But we cannot allow any of the Kajiks to gain as much power as Vermlik and Basade desire in this competition. I need to ask you to sabotage their efforts and have them claim probably no more than one world along the track. And for any clan of Vermlik or Basade stature, Bybis is a no-go. We don't know what's on that throne world, but if they claim it, they'll no doubt find whatever treasures the huts that were there previously left behind.
Zivo will roll his eyes and say, "This would have been really good to know 10 minutes ago."
I didn't know what the huts were doing around Varl. The lateness of your report, unfortunately, is what is causing this dilemma.
We're going to get as much information as we could before we report it to you.
I do not blame you, but I am simply explaining my situation.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big
It is. That's why I haven't given a definitive answer yet.
Zivo will shrug and say, "Then, if it's what's best, it's what's best. You're positive. You understand what I'm doing for our cause."
I'll make sure the rebellion does not forget your sacrifice.
One question, General. What if it backfires?
If this doesn't work, there'll be hell to pay.
There's going to be hell to pay no matter what, guys.
Oh, agreed. But it'll be so much worse.
Maybe? I don't even know.
Of course, I'm acting only in the briefness of time. I would have an entire analysis team working on this if I had perhaps even a day's or a week's notice. But from what you're telling me, this race is starting today. I don't have the luxury of perfectly analyzing the fallout from these decisions. But all I know is that when these huts gain power, other people suffer. And that is against our long-term goals.
I don't envy your position, General. But if Zivo's behind this, then I will be too.
What we can try and do is give you up to each minute information. You know, if someone claims one world, we can give you that information there and then. But
the problem is the dead road is still a hazardous space. Long-range transmissions may be unreliable.
We'll send what we can when we can.
And send what you can when you can, because, as you said, your analysis may be incomplete at this moment.
But if you find anything that could give us an edge one way or another,
send it as soon as you know.
Yes.
I will try. But for now, if there is nothing else, I will leave you to prepare. You have a daunting task ahead. May the force be with you.
You too.
And the transmission cuts.
Well, it looks like we have our work cut out for us. Before anything else, I guess we'll just look out the viewport. Does it look like anyone's like scrambling to get ready or anything, or does it look like things are still kind of meandering along?
There are people perhaps fueling up your ship and making sure all the exterior parts are topped off, but they don't seem to be in any sort of rush.
All right. Shall we see if we can scope out some of the competition at least that we don't already know about in the time we have?
Come, let's get a drink. I know some that will put hairs on your chest, and she gives Aiden a slap on the back.
Aiden will pull out his flask and says, I have all the Corellian whiskey I can want.
Corellian whiskey. Swill.
Well, as you're debating that and walking out into the open pits of Val Utagash, you see there are, of course, plenty of places to get a drink, but there also appear to be certain games here and there. And definitely a lot of signs advertising these games.
That proxy dueling looks different. That's for sure.
Your eyes filter over the proxy duel, and you can see that it involves a lot of. It looks kind of like a slave market.
Oof.
Just at a casual glance, you can probably make out that these people are looking at the combatants, can kind of weigh their skills against one another, and then placing bets when they're set up to fight. And these combatants do not look voluntary. Pit fighting actually looks like a mix of the proxy dueling and just gladiatorial combat, though it looks like it is voluntary. And then you're seeing a arrow that's pointing to a public hangar advertising just racing flat out. But if nothing else,
he's that sign, and he knows exactly where he's going to head if no one stops him.
Yeah, Ziva would be interested in some pit fighting. I think some butt kicking might help his mood.
Aiden, look at him and say, "Go ahead and let off some steam. Maybe you'll run into some of our rivals out there."
Okay. So it looks like this is how things are splitting up right now. Does Vanris has anywhere she wants to go, or is she just going to be playing the crowd?
She's gonna get a couple of drinks, one for her and probably one for Zevo. She's going to stick with Zevo, but she's going to
get some drinks first.
Get some drinks. Yeah, she's going to get some drinks first.
All right. Well, while Vanris is out buying, what sort of quality stuff are you looking for?
She's actually going for black ale.
Okay. I have no idea the rarity of that commodity.
Is that an actual thing, or is that just?
Is it from her original era?
Yeah.
Is it from back when she was new? Okay. Then you'll find a couple places that have like dusty bottles of it on like the back shelf. It's like no one's ordered this for years.
Basically, it's a popular Mandalorian ale, dark and thick with a sweet flavor.
Oh, it's even rarer then because it's Mandalorian. You don't find a lot of that in Hut space. Yeah, go ahead and actually roll me a hard. I'll set the difficulty, but streetwise.
Okay.
Let me just set this up.
Yeah, just click your streetwise skill. There's a roller thing right next to it. So.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. So unfortunately, you go up to a few places and they do not know what the hell you're talking about. But finally, you run across one bar, and after they turn you down, you get someone that comes up behind you and says, "Hey, oh, sorry, hold on. I hear you're looking for the black ale."
Yes, and she'll turn around and. She speaks with a Mandalorian accent.
Music to my ears.
Yes, I am indeed.
He extends his hand. You can see that he actually has two blaster pistols holstered at his side and one long rifle on his back.
Okay, she has a dragon eye strapped to her right leg, and she has her she has her.
You don't need to tell me your weapon setup. You're both heavily armed.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get that across. The name's Teppan Ordo. What's yours?
Ordo, huh?
Vanris.
Well, what brings a fellow Mandalorian to Val Utagash? Gosh, hot names.
Tell me about it.
Well, I wouldn't say that too loud.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, she's got her Precision X marksman on her back. Well, actually, across her chest, anyway. I am here with colleagues.
Aurelia, and his eyes look around a bit. Are they here?
They are here. One has gone to street race.
Ah, well, look forward to meeting your boyfriend?
Not, well, colleague, I would say.
Ah. Well, you know what? If you're not waiting for him, let me take you back to my ship. I make sure I always keep a stock of dark ale wherever I go.
It's been a very, very, very long time since I've had black ale, but I am afraid that I don't know you, and I'm afraid that
I just told you my name. What more do you want?
I need to keep an eye on my employer as well.
Oh, and he's not the one racing?
No, he's not the one racing.
Well, that stinks. I mean, I haven't seen a Mandalorian in ages, and finally find someone who actually has a taste for dark ale, and I have to admit, kind of feel put on.
I do apologize, but business is business.
All right, well, he actually flips you the coordinates for his ship, and it's actually, it says, the New Riser.
Can we tell, or I guess, could she tell which dock it's in?
It actually says right on the card, it's in the Angelic hangar. The personal hangar of the Angelic.
Ah, the solar flare.
Gotcha.
Right, yeah, okay.
What was the guy's name again?
Tapa Ordo.
Good to know.
All right. So while that was happening, Zivo goes up to the pit fighting, and you just see as a person clad in some padded armor and a very sharp helmet, like it comes up literally to a point. There's some blood on it too, like he used it as a weapon. Just finished destroying this weird beetle-like creature who you only assume is a non-sentient, just because you've never seen a sentient like it before. The crowd is going wild. There's cheering. And after the guy actually takes a very knightly bow to the beetle he's just slain, he walks out while a couple of, you can assume to be slaves, drag out the carcass from the other end of the arena. All right, we just saw the great and mighty Mona Ka take down a Shajuk Ka from the vast and mysterious wilds of Tepa 5. Who's up? Come one, come all. Who wants to fight to the death, to the blood, to the pain? Make your bets, take your bets, pick your challenger. Let's get moving.
Zivo will head towards wherever it looks like volunteers can go or should go.
All right. As you walk up, are you brandishing any of your weapons?
So Zivo has kind of like, for anyone familiar with XCOM, like a mech suit. Like he's pretty extensively.
So he has hot shell armor, right?
No, he's beyond that. He's
okay.
He has that, though it's back on the ship, and it may come out this adventure. But he's got a much more sophisticated set of armor that, with his cybernetic enhancements, is like partially integrated into him. So on it, he has a kind of a shotgun sort of thing, a rifle sort of thing, no, a precisely rifle thing, and like a tonfa of sorts. So he's pretty well armed.
All right, as you walk up, you notice about a young human, kind of about probably late teens, almost look like he's gonna walk up to challenge you, but a hand clamps down on his shoulder, and he quickly turns around to see that there's a Mary Ellen behind him, older, definitely middle-aged, wearing an oddly, it doesn't look like it fits quite well, but it's very bulky. It looks very tough suit of armor. And the Mary Ellen just shakes his head as he looks at the boy and then at you, and they both walk off. But before you can really investigate what the hell that was all about, a Wookiee comes up from behind you and roars, "You're next!"
Okay. He wastes no time.
All right. The Wookiee just sprints into the ring, grabs the announcer, and quickly turns him around and just points at Zevo. And then roars again, "He's next!" And the announcer's like, well, come on. We have a special fight now. The mighty Tukatha is going to be fighting against this hut right here. And the announcer kind of takes a quick sprint over to you. It's like, "What's your name, oh mighty one?"
Zevo won't lie. There's no point in pretending to be Thala here. He's Zevo the Hutt.
"Oh, the Zevo the Hutt is entering the ring, everyone. Place your bet, take your bows, pay respect." And
Can we say that Aiden bet like 1,000 credits on Zevo before heading to the?
so much for running to Short Circuit Racing.
Yeah, maybe not.
That's fine.
I'll say before Zevo went, he told him to put 1,000 credits on himself in Aiden's name.
Actually, the competitors can't place bets because they have to enter the ring.
Fine, never mind.
No way you can get a return. So I guess the only person in position to bet here would be Vanris.
Yeah,
but
Vanris.
no, she was busy.
No, she's busy.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was all taking place at the same time. So after Zevo comes into the ring, the shock fields around the arena suddenly spark on, and you can see the Wookiee pull out these long, sharp Shek blades that compass both his hands. On your marks, get set, fight. Roll initiative.
Just to note, there is a special initiative button.
Yeah, I think I know
Character sheet.
what that is. Tab
It'll
open.
automatically add it to the little turn order thingy, which is nice.
Group order. Combat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's
is that too many for you? Yeah, I was about to roll mine, so.
It doesn't
Oh,
look,
okay.
Oh, did it keep my upgrades in there? No.
No,
It added a yellow. But take away one.
It added the dice from what I was rolling.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
had
roll.
rolled that, but it added one yellow in by accident. That's what it should be. One yellow, 4 green.
So only one triumph. So 4 successes.
still way better. Either way.
You can go first, and you have a free maneuver alongside everything else.
So wait, is there a initiative tracker here, or should I do it the usual way?
There is one, but it doesn't look like he's using it.
Okay, cool.
I had
So-
no clue it existed.
It's on the left. There's a little clock icon.
Oh, that thing. I never use that thing.
Well,
It's Zevo Wookiee, so I don't think.
Right, and I get a free maneuver on my turn.
Yeah. Which
So
is
let me pull this up. I haven't looked at this in forever. What range am I starting at? And so he pulled out.
Yeah,
2
he
blades,
pulled out some
right?
blades, so it looks like he wants to engage in melee. The ring itself is basically short range from one side to the other. You're actually probably starting an engage because you're in the middle,
Oh,
both in the middle.
well, he's about to get
Jumped on.
up. So I will take my free maneuver to whip the tonfa. It kind of like how the Van Blade described. They kind of like flick out. Doing that, And I'm going to kind of click a button on it to activate the overclock setting. So now it gets Vicious 3.
Ooh. A
Oh,
Tonfa?
sorry, no, I can do that as an incidental with the upgrade. Never mind. Yeah, and then I'm going to go and try to ruin his day right now. What are his defenses?
Defenses, he has Adversary 2, so upgrade twice, and then he has the blades give him defensive 1, but they're dual. No, that doesn't matter. 1 setback.
Okay.
Actually, I'm setting the difficulty, so I don't know why I need to say all this.
Well, I could use talents to affect it and stuff, but that's fine.
All right. All right, and then 1 setback. Okay.
So I will.
You don't have to hit that sync, by the way, Jack. That's just for Destiny.
That seems to be what's keeping the. I mean, when I played this, on Friday, that's what kept the difficulty popping up, right? Because I've had it a couple of
We
times.
should do it regardless, I think. But whatever.
All right, I'll try not doing it once and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will. So far, I've spent 1 maneuver to draw a weapon. I will not aim. I have accurate 2. So let me add in those 2 boosts. I get 2 free advantages. Can I add those in?
Yeah, you just do in the little field next to it where it has like modifiers, just do 2A.
Oh, when I go over to the actual skill?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for the help. Let's see.
No problem.
Modifier.
Yeah, I've done a few games of this, so.
Okay,
And put spaces between if you have multiple kinds of modifiers.
got it. I put the other one in at the top, I guess.
Okay.
All right. Oh, and you've added the difficulty and everything, so I'm good to just go?
Yeah, hopefully. Wow.
That's a lot of advantage and no
All right,
successes.
so man, so he's at least parrying away your attack. Any thoughts for all that stuff?
Well, I shall certainly use 2 to take a free maneuver. So I have what? 2, 4, 6, 7?
Did you aim?
I did not aim. I've got other plans. 2, 4, 6, 7. So I've got 7 and a triumph here. So, holy cow.
So you use 2 for the maneuver.
Yes. I will use 3 to give myself 1 more melee.
Actually, hold on. You had 1 for free, and then you had another 1 for free because of the triumph in the initiative. Do you even need to spend the advantage to do that?
Oh,
No,
you're
he-
right. I don't. Thank you. I knew I was miscounting somewhere. So I'll use 3 to gain a melee defense. I will use the triumph to give myself an upgrade next round. I'll spend 3 to pass a boost to the next ally and to myself. And I will actually use 1, I think it's the final one, to notice a single important point in the ongoing conflict.
Because why not?
All right, you notice the Wookiee is wearing a vest, which isn't entirely abnormal. And the vest has actually a large patch on the back, which you probably saw when the Wookiee was given one of your arms a twirl. That patch you saw on one of the ships parked outside the, the Anagilic hangar. He is probably, most likely, a member of Solar Flare, the Wookiee.
Cool. Good to know.
Does he have a name? I forget. What was his name?
The announcer said Tu Katha. I probably should just type that.
Because names like that are going to be spelled like 10 different ways.
All right, so he is up.
All right. So he's going to take a maneuver to engage with you, and then he's going to hit you.
We were already
That is-
engaged. I attacked him. So
Oh yeah, I thought. Well, so you didn't end up using your free maneuver to move back?
no. Oh, sorry. I've had a free maneuver. Thank you. I'm going to
You had
use.
2 free maneuvers. You haven't
Well, I
used
used one already.
Yeah.
I have a spare maneuver. Let me put it that way. I'm going to do a. Oh, that's the wrong thing. A scathing tirade as a maneuver here.
How does that manifest in this scenario?
He's just going to taunt him and say, Zivo missed, but like, Zivo's going to kind of.
I'm going to add 2 setback because you missed.
That's fair.
And the normal difficulty for seeing tirade is 2 purple.
Yeah, I believe so. Let me pull it up. It's been so long.
I'm pretty sure
Yes,
it's
2
2.
purple.
All right. All right. I said that difficulty. Go ahead and roll your coercion. And don't
So
forget,
can
you
I
guys do have 2 light side.
Yeah. Can I do minus S on these?
No, you just have to account for it. And
Okay. Can
Yeah.
you remove
I thought
them?
you could set negative dice on it.
I haven't tried actually, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm setting it right now. -5 setback.
See if that does it.
All right. So I
I
should
just-
just roll my usual thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you have setback negation, you could put that in as negative setback, I think, and it works.
Okay. Minus 3S.
I think he meant to the modifiers thing so that it automatically does it.
Oh yeah, to the top dice pool, you can put in -5. You can put in negative. You just click the down arrow until you get -3 for the black dice.
Cool. That's helpful. All right.
To anyone watching, we are very new to the Roll20 dice roller because you will hang outside to rob us of what was perfectly fine functionality.
It works. You were correct.
All right, that's 4 strain damage.
Yep. And a setback for the next 3 rounds.
All right. He actually looks pretty mad as a result of that. He's going to. He doesn't have to take a maneuver to get engaged, but he's going to hit you. What are your melee defenses? I already have the other setback.
He could certainly aim if he wanted to.
They're presently 5 right now. With the
Okay.
+1 I gave myself.
That's quite a bit of defense.
Yeah.
So 6 setback total or 5 total?
6 total.
Okay, with the extra one, and then 2 purple for the
Yeah. I saved the upgrade for myself.
melee. Okay.
That is one hard to hit hut.
Yeah.
I would say
I think
hitting
we-
is not necessarily hard, but damaging him.
Yeah, hard to hit significantly.
Right.
All right, but he hits.
Gosh darn it.
How did that happen?
He has 5 yellow dice and 2 boosts.
Yeah,
And
this
two
setback
setback.
betrayed me.
Yeah, and he did a lot better with successes compared to Sivo's attack roll.
So I rolled
So that is going to be, let's see, 3.
Does he have a token? No. So we don't know what his
No,
he's
he
looking
doesn't.
like right now.
He's a mystery. He does 11 damage, pierce 5.
How much? 11?
11 damage, pierce 5.
Okay, so I take. Let's see.
That's a not small number of Pierce.
Yeah. So I take 6.
All right. Oh, and something I should have mentioned. This doesn't have to be a fight until you black out. It does allow concessions. But given the Wookiee,
He may or may not accept that.
well, accepting isn't the problem. The problem is with the Wookiee concede.
That's what I meant. Oh, like, yeah, either way.
All right. Your turn.
Yeah, so I will. So I pass myself 2 boosts. I will aim 2 times. I'm going to use the Exciter again, because I didn't get the Despair or 3 threats that make it blow up in my face.
That would be bad.
And
Oh, hold on. He's adversary 2 and it's melee difficulty. I forgot that actually makes it 2 red. Silly me.
oh yeah, very true. Let me know when you are ready, because I think
I am ready. Just had to get rid of 5 setback dice on that.
Let's watch what happens here.
That's better.
He's really hit this time, guys. Oh.
This poor bastard.
Oh, it includes all the stats there for me. How delightful.
I know, it's very nice.
He takes, what is that? 2?
Holy shit! 13 damage.
Let me make sure I don't have any like.
Yes, 13 damage. Stun
Yeah.
8 too. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Plus this thing has vicious now, right?
Yes. So he takes, 13.
Let me just make sure I'm doing the math on my end right, because he's going to try and parry that. So here's something funny. He attempts to parry it, but you just nick him with the tumpa. He takes 1 damage.
That's a lot of parry.
Well, don't forget, there's also soak.
That's true.
Yeah, he has at least, 5 from Brawn alone. So, okay. So I'll use 2 to hit him for 8 stun damage.
Oh my gosh. And here's something that's also funny. With that 1 nick, you just see electricity spark all over his vest and all over his body. And once the sparking fades, you could just, there's this reeking of burnt fur. And the Wookiee just looks at you like,
It's like that should not have hurt as much as it just did.
and there's
Wait,
just
that's
silence. There is stunned silence as the Wookiee falls to the ground.
Oh,
He did
Yeah,
not have a lot of strain on him, apparently.
for that.
Folks, I don't believe it, but with it looks like a minor scratch and a major electrocution, Zero the Hutt has downed Tukatha. There's a lot of suddenly just roaring as this unexpected contenders to down the person they probably thought that's been the local champion for the past couple of hours.
Zivo will put his arms up in like a fist pump.
Let me guess, it'll be.
A couple of people who you can see are wearing the same badges as Tukatha come in and drag him away, and as you slither off the arena, you find yourself confronted by a Weequay, again wearing the same badge, and he's unhappy. You could probably say there's surprise and disappointment in his face as he's looking at his Wookiee friend being dragged off and looking at the hut that beat him. And he's, you know what? And I just realized Huts can't take more than 1 maneuver a turn, but
They can't take more than 1 movement maneuver a turn.
Correct.
Really? I thought that was entirety. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, it's specifically move.
It's just sudden clarity. He says, well, you certainly shook things up around here. So, Zivo, who you working for?
The moment I'm,
And you see he's almost like biting his lip. He wants to snarl so bad.
at the moment I'm not even really sure. It seems like.
That
Well,
sounds like an average day with the Huts to me.
Everyone's working for someone. For example, that Wookiee over there works for me. And you just trounced him in 2 rounds. So,
That's a very intimate knowledge of the game mechanics.
let's... Well, no, it's 2 minutes to whatever. Still be 2 rounds. Anyway, I think there's going to be a little bit of a problem here.
And this is the kind of problem you can solve where your Wookiee monster utterly failed to.
Oh, yeah. Because that Wookiee isn't going to be punching the rear end of your starship when we're riding down the dead road. But my ship can.
Apparently he drives a transformer.
It is a Mark II Starscream.
So we have a Megatron.
Which means you're just asking to be usurped.
Zivo will shrug and kind of say, well, it sounds like we'll find out about that when the time comes.
I think we will. You can count Solar Flare as one of your newfound enemies. I hope you like your ship, because you're probably going to lose it. And then he just...
Oh, if only Aiden were there right now.
he just saunters off.
Yeah, Zivo shrugs, and he's got a bit of a I don't give a fuck attitude about things at the moment.
Well said.
Seems
All right.
fair.
And as Zivo goes off, probably to bind the small cuts he got through his armor.
Does
we
he,
got to Aiden.
Is there a reward for him from the competition?
Unfortunately, no. It looks like this was everyone bets on you, or you have friends bet on you, and it doesn't look like you had any friends come up to bet.
Yeah, fine. Zivo has, I don't know, 50 some odd thousand credits.
You know what? They will at least sport you some med packs, so they'll at least help you fix you up, since you're someone important.
Well, I'm
go
walking
ahead
into
and
drain recovery.
Yeah.
All right.
I nailed the difficulty, so it should be simple.
All right.
Oh, you can probably bet that Wookiee is going to get some of that medical care too, so guess who you're going to visit later?
Why did you roll charm?
Oops. Oh, did I click charm?
You see, the 2 red dice stuck, and I got rid of them. So.
I did. Oh, let me roll cool instead.
Did you click off of the field where you had added them? That might be what it is. After you click the arrow, you have to click elsewhere for it to register.
All right, go ahead and roll your cool and see what happens.
Yep, there it goes.
Oh, my poor.
I hate this roller.
So it's -2. So
it's not because I'm wrong, it's because it's wrong.
It's a little bit of both, I think.
Same result, actually. Yeah, perfectly the same result.
All right. Anyway, we cut to Aiden, who has arrived in a relatively large hangar. You see it is stocked with several those curved-nosed fighters that the Hutts like using in their turf.
Okay.
And with it, you see a line of people in flight suits standing by another droid announcer. Yeah, sure. Let's say the announcers are all droids. And it's
like
current
droids.
Yeah, they're beat up, and also they've developed a sort of hip personality. Like they're trying to please a crowd that's not there. And this one's saying, well, you know, the rules are simple. The flight plans are already plotted into your computers, so it is going to be straight up flying skill. You need to get through the belt, and I guess the fleet right there is going to be a bit of a hazard. But if you're able to completely ring the planet and come back here in first place, a prize will be offered.
Aiden will, is there like an entry fee, or is it just kind of go up and do the thing?
Well, we're currently making a winner's pot of 3,000 credits, but you can pay less if you don't care about getting smaller payout. I don't know why they all have southern accents.
Aiden will throw in 1,000. And,
all right. He's entitled to a third.
and he'll hop in a fighter.
All right. So as you pop in, the droid comes up and is like, well, right, hold on there, partner. We currently got 6 pilots instead of you, and it's going to be a bit too crowded with the fleet out there to go. So, well, last person arrived, first person to choose. They're going to be 2 sets running. Which one do you want to fly with? There's the first heat, and then there's the second heat. Both have the same prize pool because they weren't sticklers for credits. And then the droid looks at you kind of sideways. He says, yeah, you're the cheapskate here.
Wait, didn't you say the prize? The prize was like 3,000.
The buy-in was 3,000.
Oh, the buy-in was. Then I would throw in 3,000 then. Yeah, I thought you meant the prize was. 3,000.
He redacts his earlier cheapskate comments.
Yeah.
So if you fly with the first heat, you're going to be flying with that girl over there, and he points to a youngish girl with blue hair, who already seems to be in the middle of fine checking her instruments, but also seems kind of smug about herself, like, "Oh
With
yeah,
as
I'm
in
hot
against
shit."
or yeah, okay.
Yes,
Like
against. This
one-on-one?
is
Okay.
not team.
Gotcha.
Well, no, not one-on-one. It's 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1.
Gotcha.
And then he points to a Rhodian with a stylish hat that's trying to desperately fit it into the cockpit. And you're going to be fighting against that. And it points to what isn't even in a fighter, but just a giant droid who is kind of looks like a basilisk droid, except not as insane. Kind of. It looks like it has
from the Clone Wars, or like a.
No, it has
Okay.
4 kind of crane-like legs on its sides that kind of look like they're tucked up under itself right now, and it just has kind of 4 fins in the back. 2 of them actually its legs bent up, and the other 2 just seem like they're hovering above the engine. And well, the Shell Huts brought that one in, and it looks like it's going to be taking part in the race, the actual race. I think they're just test flying it right now, so they want to see how good it does against normal competitors.
I'm intrigued.
But if
by
you
the
want to,
droid. I mean,
if you want to wait for the second heat, you're just going to be facing off against that girl, and that boy over there. And he points to 2 human females and a Zexto who actually has 2 cybernetic arms that actually just seem to be waiting.
No, I'll go for the first heat.
All right.
That droid
So-
intrigues me.
All right. So a minute passes as you all start up your repulsor lifts and get in a line by the end of the hangar. And the droid is wired into your speakers. It says, "All right, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go." And all of you just quickly fly out of the hangar, and soon you realize, oh shit, there's stuff outside the station. So the first check is going to be 2. I'm sorry, that's wrong. It's going to be 1 red, 2 purple, but also 2 setback because of the fact that, oh hey, there are ships in the way and we are flying relatively fast.
You can just not add those setbacks. It's all right.
I'm adding them because all the other racers are going to have to roll them too. So you're going to have
Fair.
negative like 5 on your pool to negate it.
I mean, technically it's -3, so that's what I can.
All right. Well
remove.
then, I just kept thinking of Macron with his 5 negation. When are you going to get on that level, Aiden? Come on.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's only so many levels of this thing in piloting.
Was it? Darius got -4.
Yeah, I think you can only get like 5 or 6 total, ever.
All right.
So-
Go ahead and roll yours first, so I can then add the other dice pools after that.
Sure. Right. And piloting space, right? So, what's our destiny pool at? 2 and 2.
It's 2 and 2.
I'll flip 1. Why not? Oops, I didn't mean to roll destiny. Let's not do
I'll
that.
just subtract it.
Yeah, thanks. Use light side. That's what I meant to do.
All right.
And so that will add an upgrade on my side, and piloting space go.
Okay, you pull out pretty good, slipping and weaving between all the ships, especially some of them who seem to be moving together. And let's see how that compares to the other ones before we divvy out what those triumphs do. Probably going to just be upgrades in your next check.
All
But
right.
first, there's
Oh, well, so this is basically we're coming out, and then there's a bunch of ships there and stuff. Is that what this is, or like ships and debris, or what is it?
well, it's ships and asteroids.
Okay.
Because it's in the middle of an asteroid belt, but because of the festivities, the space around the station is also full of ships who keep trying to land because people keep taking up spots.
Okay. You see, maybe I managed to like kind of thread the needle between a few ships that are like really close together and block the passage of anyone trying to follow immediately behind me.
So
Does Aiden-
upgrading the difficulty for them.
Does Aiden pull out one of these cameras and takes a photo
No,
of
I'm
them?
fine. for one of them at least, yeah. And then the other one can be an upgrade to mine for next time.
All right. So first one, upgrade to the difficulty again. You know what? I just realized something. You can't. Oh wait, no, never mind.
Okay.
All right. The first pilot, the blue-haired woman, pulls up. She's definitely behind you, but she is actually able to slip between the ships that you caused to collide. Okay. Next one.
Is there anyone closely trailing me? I guess we wouldn't know yet.
I will find out when they've all rolled. 4 successes they have to get close to in order to do that. All right, and this one is the. In case you're curious, this one is the droid.
That'd be good to know.
The droid actually pulls ahead of you.
Okay.
So it's currently
what
the
speed was I going? I assume max speed of the ship, whatever it is, right?
The max speed of the ship is.
Because I'm going to do a supreme full throttle.
All right. Yeah. So it was actually because you just got off the start line, it was going speed 1, and then it was going to start ramping up. But if you're going to go full throttle, that takes it past and over.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. It's technically a check to do that. I don't know if you wanted me to make a separate roll for that or.
Yeah, because these things definitely don't look like they're meant to be handled that roughly.
Okay, so it'd be an average piloting check.
Okay. Because of the fact that I'm not supposed to handle it roughly, I'm going to upgrade it.
Okay. Well, you got that all handled, so let me just roll it then.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
Oh.
Let me get rid of all the positive dice so we don't get stuck with that.
For the... Is this still my upgrade from last time, or is this would that be for the next leg of the race?
I think that's up to you.
I would say that'd be for the next leg of the race. So I will use the light side and give myself an upgrade as well. So piloting, go.
All right. So the ship is actually able to handle it pretty well. What speed do you take it to now? It's the max speed.
Too higher than the max.
Okay, that's speed 5. But that's also going to proportionally make your check a lot harder. Because now it's 3. Yeah, it's 3 red, 2 purple for you now. So yeah, this is the next leg of the race. You're now just dealing with the asteroids, but the flight plan did take you through a very dense part of it. So it's actually 3 setback, which you don't have to worry about, but I'm still putting on the thing for the other racers.
Yep.
So you're going to be rolling against a much higher difficulty than they are, but if you succeed, you will get much more lead on them.
Okay.
If you fail, God help you.
So I'll use that that upgrade from last time, and I think everything else is fine, right? Yeah. Piloting space, go. Oh, I'm going to use natural pilot for that.
Come on, 3 despairs.
Better.
Darn, I was going to hit your speed. All right. So the fact that you're going 2 over the limit, I'm actually going to add 2 more successes to that.
Okay.
So they're going to have to fly really well.
If you told me before I rolled, I could have added it, but...
Well, I didn't know what the result was going to be. The problem is that despair is going to knock your speed down, so it wouldn't matter so much.
True. I like how despair is the only one that's in white for some reason.
I guess it would look ugly if it was in black. I'm not sure.
Ooh, no.
All right, it looks like the blue hair chick is just falling behind a lot. Oh, actually, you know what? No, never mind, because that's the wrong difficulty. She wasn't supposed to be rolling 2 of those purples. So actually negate the 2 purples on that, and she succeeds with a lot of threat. Actually, no, she succeeds with 1 threat because the only failure was in the setback. So she's behind you, but she hasn't done as poorly as that roll would make you believe.
Gotcha. She's still way behind, but not as far behind.
Yeah, she's not completely blown into the dust. This one. Whoops. Ignore that. She's further behind. So it's currently you by a mile, then the blue-haired chick, then the Rhodian with the fancy hat, and then finally... Okay, yeah, now it's actually the droid is still in the lead of that pack, but you are ahead of the pack.
Gotcha.
All right, final leg. This one is a looser asteroid field, so it's only going to be 2 setback for everyone else. But for you, it's still going to be the 2 purple, 3 red.
All right. All right. So my roll is the same as before. Oh, I didn't have a free upgrade, so I'm going to flip. Was that right? Yeah, I guess it was.
Well, didn't you use your free upgrade
yeah.
on the last one?
Yeah, no, I just thought I had another light side. Okay. My pool is not updating for some reason. Maybe because I still have it open. Okay. Piling space, go. I'll take it.
Okay.
Oh, I should have showboated. Darn it.
So it's 5 successes they need to get ahead of.
Look, Mark, no hands.
Boom. Okay, make sure to get rid of those 2 purples now. Ooh.
Is that a collision?
It looks like yeah, you know what? Yeah, she probably collides with the Rhodian. So they clip each other's wings and those come off. We'll find out what happens to them right at the end of the race. Actually, it's probably going to depend on how well the Rhodian rolls right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to upgrade her difficulty. But she does negate 1. All right, you know what? The Rhodian's actually able to pull free.
So maybe not into the Rhodian, maybe into an asteroid?
I'd say they still collide, but the Rhodian's able to pull out.
Okay.
Because they had the same amount of successes, which means they're basically in the same place. So only the blue-haired chick got damage, but they both hit each other.
Gotcha.
Okay, and now for the droid. Make sure to get rid of that upgrade. All right. The droid, so it's, yeah, as you pull into the hangar, it's you, and then after about 30 seconds, it's the droid.
Nice.
And then just a couple of seconds after that, it's the Rhodian, and then the blue-haired woman just kind of luckily... in fact, I'm going to make her roll to see if she can actually get a landing. She'll decrease her speed.
If she can even land smoothly at all, yeah.
Yeah, she'll decrease her speed to try and get a smoother landing. Okay, she does succeed.
Oh, wait, no, I forgot force stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So even with her damaged wing, she's able to pull in and land relatively smoothly. Much to your surprise, probably, since without that wing, she was going to hit a lot of difficulty when she hit atmosphere. And I didn't use Destiny for any of these. Probably should. So as you get out, and the droid comes up to you with a cred stick and says, "Congratulations!" Insert name here. You have won the grand prize of. You have won the grand prize of 12,000 credits.
Oh, very nice.
3,000 for each of the other competitors, and your own buy-in. Congratulations! Clap, 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 clap. It's the only one clapping. Because it's just the other pilots.
Okay.
And so as you probably feel nice about the credits, 2 people approach you. One is the blue-haired woman from her own damaged ship, and the other is actually a Hutt in full armor. Like, aside from the head, it looks like from the body down, they're just encased in a big metal tube.
So as the Hutt approaches, I'll be like, "So I hear that droid was yours."
Correct.
Looks like he needs
Hutt
a bit
looks
more tweaking.
Well, it was never meant to be an ace pilot. I think it lived up to expectations, but you are quite interesting.
I mean, if your expectations were second best, then sure.
You start feeling a tingle. Like your hair starts standing up on end. Like there's suddenly a static charge around you.
Do I notice
I would
anything potentially causing it?
Go ahead and roll. I'd set the difficulty, but it's going to be a vigilance check.
Okay.
We're going to let the difficulty be a mystery.
Ooh. Mystery
it's
difficulty.
Fun.
I suppose you're not flipping.
No, I won't.
All right.
Dark side is better.
Let's see.
Later.
Vigilance is clearly Aiden's strong suit. Oh, you got it.
You feel like you're being scanned quite invasively if your hair is actually reacting to it.
By the hut?
You can assume.
No respect for my privacy either, I see.
Well, consider it the high price of victory. I shall make sure your reflexes and other biological data is put to use to perhaps make my droid best instead of second best.
Good luck with
Though,
that.
of course, this is only the one. There are several others as part of our official machine, which you shall see soon enough. It shall claim many planets for the shell huts.
Who do I owe the pleasure of speaking to?
I'm Jaloo the Hutt, and you shall show proper respect for your betters.
As soon as I see one, I'll let him know.
Oh, well then if you're a better flyer, and then you hear a click, and the droid suddenly, its legs pop up, and you can see it is like a Silhouette 3 creature now, and it just clunk, 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 and it just stands like 10 feet from you. It is twice as tall as you, and 3 red eyes are just gazing down at you now. Perhaps you can fly better, but I doubt you'll be able to stand against it one-on-one.
I suppose we'll have to find out. But I'm pretty sure the rules here forbid any undue violence.
I do.
No, we wouldn't want to be disqualified
do.
from this competition.
You have insulted a hut. This is our territory, our station. Those are our fighters. You may have the leisure to win your big gambling pot, but do not think you can go about insulting your betters. And I am your better.
Walking off.
Okay, roll initiative.
All right. I assume this is cool. Just
yeah,
going on
you
a hunch
saw
there.
this coming, probably.
All right.
Okay, roll 1. Roll 2.
Wow.
Guess which one was the droid and which one was the hut.
I'm gonna guess the first one was the droid, right?
All right. Next up is the droid. Oh my god, why did you have to go and insult this guy?
I mean, he was being a dick.
You hear a very loud clink, clunk, and then the heat of something on your back as the droid shoots you. This Silhouette 3 vehicle-sized droid shoots
His
you.
shot is
Okay,
also 2 difficulty harder because of the size difference.
you are correct. How much are you dodging?
Twice.
Okay. That upgrades this twice. It adds 2. You just start walking away, so you're actually in short. So this is 1 red, 2 red, 1 purple. Any range defense?
Yes, 1.
Okay. Oh, Lord. I just sincerely hope this doesn't hit you, but you pissed him off. Oh, God.
Nope.
Thank God. Okay. This giant rain of blaster bolts rains all around you, but you probably have the good sense to duck behind a nearby container, which it subsequently turns to shreds before you hear a That cooling period won't last for long, says the hut. And it's your turn.
Aiden's just gonna head for the door.
Okay, this
He
is
has
a
no
Montana.
desire to-
The door is long range, so you can get halfway there.
He will he'll put some ships between him.
Okay. I'll count that as total cover unless someone tries to catch up. Droid's already gone. The shell hut's turn. Can only make 1 move.
Shell armor gets rid of Ponderous.
Oh, You just learn something new every day.
When you play a hut, you know hut stuff.
All right, so two maneuvers, which gets it short range from you. You made 2 to get to medium, right? You're already short. And now it's in short again. Okay.
Well, actually, while I'm making an exit there, I'll put a call out for Zevo and Vanris. Be like, I may have pissed off someone with a very large droid.
Zevo will say, "Don't worry, I pissed off someone with a dangerous Wookiee, but
I mean, like 2-story tall droid, or however big this thing is."
And you told me,
accurate estimate.
and you told me to pick my own fights.
Yeah, I called his bluff, and he apparently called mine. So.
Wow, you're so lucky they're rolling shit. You see a big, bright blue bolt just suddenly hit the landing strut next to you, and sparks just shoot up and down the strut, encompassing a lot of the ship you were standing by. Suddenly there's a very acrid, smoky smell in the air, as it seems like something in the ship got fried. And then you hear the droid back by the other ship suddenly going, "Oh no! Oh dear! This is so bad! Oh, I guess we can't have the second heat in this match. Oh, please stop! Please stop!" And then you hear a loud crunch as the other droid just steps on the race announcer. And it's actually its turn, so it's going to try shooting you again.
Did you say it had a cooldown period?
It was talking about how it had to wait until the next round.
All right, I will dodge twice again, I suppose. Did it make the whole...
Oh, actually, you know what? I rolled the same negative dice, even though you didn't dodge twice. It should have just been 1 purple.
I mean, I could dodge twice on that. That's fine.
Yeah, for the sake of it.
And now I use... not rapid recovery. Second wind to get 3 of that back. Oh no! I am so very concerned with my strain usage for this encounter.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. It's 5. I'm gonna use another dark side because, dear God.
I will also flip into fence. I think. I do not want this thing to hit me. Since I actually have...
Yeah, that turns that to 3 red. Oh, no. Okay, it hits you for 17 damage.
Wait, is it still only short range? Could it have taken 2 maneuvers? I don't know what kind of thing this is.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's technically... it's so hard to say. It is a creature. It can take 2 maneuvers when it's in this form. Transformers, so confusing with these rules. For the sake of argument, I'll say it will, even though it will have to take strain for it.
All right. 17, you said?
17, and you're so lucky because, fuck me, it was 1 advantage away from critting. For that 2 advantage, though, I'm going to say it's going to... Pretty sure it can take out 1 of your defense for that. Let me double check. Being creative here and look.
3 negates defense.
Okay. Then I'm going to say it adds setback because you're kind of suppressed to your next attack, to your next action. So the door is now within range. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
doing
it's
that.
like, okay. I can also say
I would get out of it, right? I assume I would get out the door.
You get out of the hangar, but you kind of be in a position where you probably have to take cover behind the bulkhead.
Where would reinforcements be if they were actually coming? They never said if they were or not.
Actually, down the corridor, you do see there is a large group of Clantunians and, why not, some Trandoshans coming down the way, heavily armed.
Okay, so I'll go over the comm again while I'm running. Ow! Any help, guys?
Can Vanris offer support to those guys who are coming to subdue the droid?
I'd
And the
say you
hut?
probably saw them at the same time Aiden called, so you could probably just join their entourage.
Yeah, she'll join their entourage.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess that's all I can really do. Get around the corner and take cover. And,
Okay. You hear several loud stomps coming from the hangar again, along with a whoop 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 whoop. And then
okay.
you hear some loud cursing from the hut in several languages, mostly Huttese. Seems like it was trying to get for something creative there. And then there's a loud and then a push. And you look down the bulkhead and you see the droid has actually picked up the shell hut and flown out.
Okay, just like left the hangar, or
Yeah, it looks like it flew out. And you can see there's like a giant it's almost like a butterfly. It has this little shiny cocoon under it as it's flying out.
so I imagine I have a giant scorch mark on my back at the moment.
You have several. Like there's one probably over your shoulder, one on your back, probably one by your leg. This thing peppered you.
All right. So it's left the picture, so I can do other things now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the group that was trying to break up the fight showed up and said, they look at you. It's like, you insulted Jula, didn't you?
Yeah, it turns out he doesn't like that.
Yeah, we should have that as a fucking sign. Jula is sensitive. Yeah, you don't usually like the Trandoshans kind of, they give something close to a laugh before walking off. And one of the cartoonies look at you. It's like, yeah, so Jula designed that thing.
No wonder he didn't like when it lost.
Yeah, and do you really think it would have been smart insulting both a heavily armored hut and a giant droid? I mean, you got a quad if nothing else, but
Well, live and learn, I suppose.
yeah. And
if you could direct me to the nearest infirmary.
Unfortunately, you don't have the time. The opening ceremonies are starting in a few minutes, and as one of the races, yeah, you need to arrive.
So, while en route, Aiden will take a couple stim packs.
My gosh, the trouble you guys get yourself in. I guess I should count myself lucky. I feel like I never would have heard the end of it. That thing just would have up and killed you.
Yeah, you would have been the GM that just completely killed me for no reason.
No reason. I showed you specifically that this hut had a giant droid at his beck and call, and you kept insulting it.
It's supposed to be minus 9. What the heck?
Yeah, by all means, jump into the Sarlacc pit. By all means. And it's my fault.
Boba Fett got out.
Not in my canon.
Did he?
Oh dear. Anyway, so Aiden shoves a few stim packs, and as you all reconvene to realize how lucky he is to be alive, you find that all of your data pads are pinging, ordering you to arrive at the main antechamber for the commencement ceremony.
Well, shall we?
Of course.
All right, and as you arrive, you see that it is a massive chamber ringed by several balconies, of each with a banner of the independent hut Kejik that is sponsoring a participant in this race. And in the center, there is a wide open area that apparently only few are allowed to gather. And in the middle is a giant chalice with several small coin-like slots on each end. You can see that there's about 8 of them. 9, actually. Apparently, there is a feast, but only the Hutts are enjoying it. Everyone else just seems to be walking around, maybe saying hello, or just standing stoically by themselves. However, as Zivo comes into the room, you are immediately flanked by 2 guards who seem to be ushering you towards the center where the chalice is.
To the chalice.
You walk up to it and see that 8 other people have also stood up, one of them being Onyx, and they each seem to be holding in one of their hands their Ardos disc. You can assume one for each of their sponsors.
Aiden will give a nod to Zivo.
It sounds like it's time to wield our Ardos disc.
As you hold it out, you see that the chalice's slots are actually somewhat barred. It seems like this is somewhat of a ritual. They're all waiting for the Hutts to stop eating. Luckily, after a few awkward minutes,
it's Waylodon.
The Hutts do eventually stop, and the trumpets blare. As the music and celebration begins, again, only for the Hutts' entertainment. As Jabba of the Kajik Disiligic slithers up to the edge of his balcony, holds its arms out wide, and says, "Welcome, glorious contenders." There's a in the crowd behind you, as some of the spectators seem to be riling up. "Today is a glorious day, for the Hutts shall take back what was once taken from them by fate and poor fortune. You who stand below us shall have the honor of fighting for both honor and glory, to restore the Bunata Hata to its glory." Another round of cheers and applause. "Now, we cannot have you roam about the dead road unfettered. So," and then a giant hologram appears above the chalice, double-sided so everyone can read it. "We have set about these guidelines for you to follow. You shall honor them, or you shall die." Please tell me something just popped up on everyone's screens.
Yep.
Okay. And as you're reading the rule, you notice that the ceiling seems to almost disintegrate as just a swarm of small little droids seem to come down and start floating by almost everyone. You can look at them and you can easily identify them. They're camera droids. "We shall watch you as you go out and claim glory for your sponsors and for the Hutts. We shall entertain and engorge ourselves by watching you fight over the skies of worlds long since abandoned. But you shall not in any way defile what is our glorious heritage, our fine legacy. Now present yourself with your tokens," and the slots on the chalice open. And you notice one by one, each participant going up and sliding their disc into the slots.
Ziva, is there like an order, does it look like, or kind of just going when they're clear?
It seems like everyone would go at once if they didn't start shoulder checking each other.
Got it. So Ziva will kind of shoulder his way in using his impressive size and pop in the disc.
All right. Once all the discs are in, there's a many hinged lid over each slot, and that suddenly snaps shut, and the chalice sinks into the floor. "We shall see which one of you is worthy of our continued patronage when this competition is complete. Now, for your first destination," and then right where the chalice was, all of a sudden what rises up is another chalice, but it's much simpler in design. And on the end of on the lip of it is a data card, one for each participant. These contain the first coordinates of a great world we once claimed as our own. Go there, find what we have left behind, and when you have uncovered, and the first one to uncover the map to the next glorious world along this road, you shall claim that world in the name of your masters. And again, the participants take the data cards. Some of them salute with them. Others just nod to their respective sponsor. Once all the data cards are gone, the chalice sinks into the floor again. Now, go. Prepare your ships. The race begins in 1 hour. And the lights above the balconies dim, as all you see now are just the long banners of each of the individual Kajiks.
So I guess we head back to the ship then.
All right. You go back to the ship and slide in the data card into the Navicomputer, and it seems like it's able to keep its own course relatively well. Now here's the choice. You can either let the ship do its own work and have the course, and this is probably the standard course most people will take, or you can try a relatively difficult, because of the natural hazards within the dead road, an astrogation check to perhaps get there faster.
Lacking anyone with intellect to assist.
Don't forget Pippa.
I'm not sure if the astrogation... Pippa has astrogation specifically.
Right.
Yeah,
But
she has
not-
no intellect. So the best you could get, I think, is a 2 yellow, 2 green, if none of you have astrogation skill.
Yeah, my astrogation skill is currently 3, but I can remove 2 setbacks, and I can reduce the difficulty by 1. So it's kind of a trade-off with Pippa, whether that's useful or not. But
I don't know. I think it.
with no intellect to mix with,
Yeah, I think we just rely on the ship to be faster rather than our routing at this point.
All right. Then after making the proper preparations aboard your own ship, you see that a lot of the fleet that was kind of around the station are starting to gather at one specific point, the approach vector for the next planet. You see, wow, at least there's 3 gargantuan carriers that seem to be part of the Outer Rim Survey Corps, and then aside from a few probably Silhouette 5 frigates that belong to a few of the larger groups, the rest are freighters, probably about your size. But there's a lot of them, probably good portions of them belonging to just larger groups. But they all seem to be oriented to one point, and suddenly you get your comm terminals forced open, and you hear another southern sounding announcer droid, probably a replacement for the one lost at the hangar. It's like,
does this one have a giant hat?
maybe you don't see a visual, so you can imagine it pretty well.
Is it called Tex?
Sure. This is T3X. Racers, start your hyperdrives. And you see a lot of the engine colors around some of the ships begin to glow. The race down the dead road begins in 3, 2, 1. Go! Whoosh, 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 and you just see all these ships just suddenly disappear as they slam towards on the unknown, and the sun flare follows them. And then just as the star lines drag to blue and you're engulfed in that swirling blue vortex, you know the race down the dead road has begun. And that is where we'll end our session tonight.
I was going to say, that sounds
Oddly
like a
enough,
closing point if I ever thought so.
Yeah. Oddly closer to the deadline than I thought it was going to be, but you decided to each get into your own individual situations and fight a Silhouette 3 killbot. But hey,
And get away.
whatever. Yeah, next time you won't have backup though.
Actually,
Well,
he
next
did
time
it
I'll be
all
in a
by
ship.
himself.
All right. So let's take us back to here. Thank you guys. So even though I know it was usually small group to one of these larger things, but I'm glad you could all play to part 1 of this mini campaign of Race Down the Dead Road. XP wise, I'm going to set this up straight along the hours, so 15. Definitely +1 for having the gall and surviving a match with a massive droid comparable to a Rancor. I'll give another +1 for just, I know you might deserve MERP too, but I liked how Zevo's dilemma was considered within the group for the situation he was put in.
All right.
So 17, and since this is a bit of a setup mission, I'm actually okay with setting it there unless anyone has a very good idea for another one.
Defeating the Wookiee in such speedy fashion.
Sure, that may go to your overpowered weapon, but yeah. I'll allow it. Yeah, 18 XP plus
Well,
1
so-
for...
So your
Was it-
overpowered weapon gets an experience point.
All right. I am going to log down at 18, though, even though Aiden did pull some fancy turns in that race. So 18 XP, there is no payout, but you can assume that there's probably going to be a pretty big one at the end of this.
I mean, Aiden got a payout. He was okay with that.
Oh, you're right. Aiden got 12,000 credits. You can
Well,
choose to get...
9,000. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, 3,000 back and then 9,000 profit.
I'll distribute the wealth.
Don't
3,000
forget,
each.
don't forget the benefit costs of most impacts.
So
Zevo
Aiden-
will give it back to Aiden since he didn't do any work and has oodles of credits.
Aiden also has oodles of credits, like only slightly less than Zevo. So
Yeah, the race is so you can buy up the most property on way right now.
no, Aiden
Battle
just
of
wants more
Lambarons.
ships or more parts of his ship.
All right. So XP is really the only thing that can be paid out. I did consider Zevo's obligation, but it's kind of hard to just have an Inquisitor show up here.
Yeah.
But I think that's where I'll just call the session completely. So thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching.
MVP or not tonight?
I'm going to try tonight, but if it's not up by like midnight Central Time, wait until tomorrow morning.
No, MERP and MVP.
Oh, sorry. I heard midnight for some reason. The fact there's only 3 of you, I'm going to get rid of MERP and just say MVP, but you can consider roleplay in it when you're giving it out.
Fair enough.
I was going to say,
So
how
who
about?
gets MVP?
I was going to say, why not one each?
That defeats the purpose of.
Yeah, it does.
That's kind of overboard. I might as well just made the total XP payout 19.
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to go Zevo.
Zevo was pretty significant, definitely. I feel bad voting for Aiden. I don't want to, but he definitely did a bunch.
So basically, we have a nomination for Zevo, a nomination for Aiden.
I guess, yeah.
All right. James, do you want to vote for yourself or
I mean, I think both were important. But I think on the RP side, I can't ignore Zevo's sacrifice.
Yeah, that was big.
perfectly valid? He's going against family for the sake of the greater good. It's all right. Yep. James gets a MVP point, and unless I forgot anything now, right? No. Okay.
So
That's-
Vanders gets 4,500, by the way, since Zevo didn't take his share.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Okay. And now I'll call the first session of Race Down the Dead Road to a close.